You want a better life. Let's make it real. This is a better life. From scars to stars, from pain to bulletproof. Teresa, better life. A better life with you. Talking news, pop culture life, love and scandal, heart to heart. Teresa, better life. Real is where the reset starts. No playing small. We rise, we fall. We laugh, we do it all. A better life is one brave call. Teresa, better life. Let's build a better life. Let's build a better life. A better life. Teresa, better life.
Good afternoon, everyone. Joy is mine. You are my first super chat ever, forever and ever. Forever. And it's gone down in history. Thanks so much for that. I appreciate it. I just got notified after yesterday's live that I am able to be monetized and get super chats and all of that. It's so exciting to me. I have been working on this for about a year, 11 months since last April. I quit my job. I'll tell you more about it in a minute. Quit my job and decided to embark on this adventure. So I'm glad you can be here. Hi, Jats. Hi, Maggie. If you're still here, Maggie, Jats, Texas Jats. Let's see who else is here. That's who we've got now. Yay. Anyway, so as we wait for people to trickle in here, I've got to make sure that all the sound is fine. It sounds fine. And the computer is connected to my AirPods because it looks like it disconnected. Anyway, last April, thank you, Maggie. Yes, thank you so much. Okay, I had left one job and started another job. It was a dream job as far as my title. I was a director. I could really fix a unit and help it run better and more efficiently and all of that. So it was a great salary, probably the most that I ever made in my life. Not that I made a whole, it was a good amount of money, more than I had seen in a salary, which was good. It was a good boost. And so I had worked there. The first week, I barely talked to my boss. She gave me about 3 hours worth of training before she had to head off for surgery, which was fine with me. I can figure things out for myself. Anyway, so then that was the first week I was in training. Had just started the second week. I was still, obviously still super excited. You're still new. And so I was making some changes and doing some things which as a director I could do. And she didn't like it. She called me and she proceeded to yell and talk down to me. And something in that moment, I tend to, when I get nervous or afraid, I tend to freeze, and then I'll deal with it later. Once I calm down, that's my initial response, is to freeze. And unless I'm closer to somebody, then I can fight back a little bit. But anyway, so in that moment, it was something inside of me said, no more. This is not how it's going to be. And I told her about herself. And I said, no wonder the department's in the shape that it's in. If this is how you run things, this is why. And I'm not going to take it. And you're going to have to, start over again. And so I said, I quit. I'm not doing this. And at that point, I'm like, oh, I felt really good about it until the next morning. I woke up and I'm like, oh, shoot, I sure hope that was the right thing. I really believe it was the right thing with all my heart, but I was getting, I was nervous. So anyway, there was the Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively lawsuit thing that had been happening. I didn't know a lot about it, but long story short, I felt like this lawsuit for harassment against Justin Baldoni was something that was not true. And I felt like she was doing it to destroy a man's life, to destroy his life and reputation. And so at that point, I just thought, I said, I want to speak up. I want to speak for what's right. And, and I haven't looked back since. So it's been a slow and steady road. And it's been, times that I'm like, is this really the way? And I just keep going and I keep going because this is where my passion is. And so, yeah, it's just slowly grown. So I don't know if you saw my post. So in celebration of that, I had been thinking about getting some Candace merch, which I still haven't. But I'm like, well, what could I do? Because I thought I really wanted to do something special and different. And so I was like, well, I will actually give away one of my favorite products in the whole world. And it's a product. It's amazing. And so what I'm going to do is, so everybody who comments in the chat, then please hit the like button, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Also hit the heart next to the chat so that algorithm knows we're here. Anyway, so I have this stuff. It is called Trim Fit. I have been using this okay, I'm so bad at the camera. Okay, anyway, I have been using this product for, goodness, I think 4 years. I love it. I used to have coffee all the time for the caffeine, pick me up and all of that. I don't, if I have coffee now, it's because I just want the flavor and the comfort of like a warm drink. But it's called Trim Fit. It's in a packet like this. It's delicious. Okay. So first of all, I have let my family try it, and these are highly coveted. They are phenomenal tasting. It doesn't taste like, how artificial flavoring can taste artificial. I won't do it. I won't do artificial tasting stuff. Anyways, I will let them have it. And one of my sons says it's like crack. Like he's like, what did you give me? Because I feel crazy in my head. Hyped. And my husband, who can get pretty sleepy in that, he takes it. And one time he accidentally took 2 in a day and he couldn't sleep, which he can sleep at all times, anytime. Anyway, this is amazing. So you put it in water. I have it here because I'm like, I might need a little bit of a boost. I've only told family about this product. So I've never told, you guys are the first one outside of my family to hear about this and know about this. Anyways, so it's got natural caffeines. Let me show you, I'll share it since I was giving this away, I'd just kind of show you, let me share this tab. I'd show you, what it is, just so maybe you don't even want it. But I would recommend it because it's delicious, and the energy levels that you have without a crash and without the sugars of soda and the syrups and coffee and all that are not there. So anyway, so I do it for energy. And so does everybody else. But but it can help burn fat. It does suppress your appetite. My husband was like, I don't feel like eating around, around noon, and he has to eat because he'll get lightheaded, and he can get low blood sugar. He's got a fast metabolism, so anyways, he was like, what's going on? Same with other people in the family. So it does control appetite. So that's some stuff that's in it. Increased energy for sure. It comes in a tub, or it comes in these packets. I get the packets because purple tea. Anyway, if you want to go onto that website and look at that, you can. But I thought I'd show you just in case. So if you win the drawing and you're like, I don't think I want it, then we can just give it to somebody else. It's really good. So I take it and I put it in either a glass with some ice if I want it chilled, or like right now when I feel like I need some. I won't drink all of this because this will keep me awake all night. Anyways, yeah, I just pour it in like that. I don't like putting it in a regular water bottle because the sweet stuff, anything in a water bottle other than water tends to make it moldy and stuff. Anyways, and just shake it up. And I just made a mess here. I've never done that in front of anybody. I just got my keyboard. Anyway, anyways, so it's that color. Anyways, it's really tasty. I love the flavor. It's so good. Anyways, one of the best tasting, the best tasting powder drink thing like that, of all time. It's the GOAT. It's the GOAT. And just so you know, you can get the tubs or this. I'll share an affiliate link in a post at some after this on the YouTube channel. If you want to get it, you can get I have a discount code and all of that, and you can get that. But yes, it is really, really good, and consistency is encouraging. Yeah, that's the thing as far as whenever you're doing anything and trying to grow, as long as you're consistent, it doesn't have to be fast. When I do something, I tend to I want to just do it fast. And so this has really been a molding of my character that things don't happen quickly, and that I still just need to keep going because I'm more of a sprinter than a long range runner. So anyways, yes, it has been amazing. And as long as you're consistent, you don't have to worry about how slow you're going. You don't have to worry about anything because your character will come along in the molding of just the discipline of being consistent. And fending off those insecurities and the voices that get in your ear like they do, how they want to do that and tell you all kinds of things about yourself that you can't do it and all the things. So anyways, I love it. I love coming on with you guys. So I have been busy today. I was talking on the phone with somebody from a documentary. I'll share a trailer with you if you haven't seen it. It's called Surviving Ohio State. If you're here, say hello in the chat if you're here for the first time, or just say hello if you've just entered to welcome into Teresa Better Life. We're having a contest, so if you make a comment, somebody maybe when we get new people in, maybe say, I don't know. Anyways, we'll be doing a drawing. And anyway, so back to the documentary. So if you don't know what Surviving Ohio State is, and the reason I want to talk about this again is because it's important. It's a big deal. And I don't want the Epstein of it all and the Les Wexner to take a sideline and to be buried with all the other news, with the war and all of that. So I'm going to turn that volume down here. And let me know when Candace announces, if you would. I don't think she's announced yet that she's going on. Oh, maybe she has. No, she just did a different post. Okay. Anyway, so Surviving Ohio State that's a college in Ohio, obviously. And these guys came out with abuse allegations against Richard Strauss, who was the doctor. You know, remember the whole Nasser thing with the Olympics? Well, this is the version that happened to the guys at Ohio State. So between the 1970s, mid 1970s to the late 1990s, they were abused, and systematically the college let them down. It was reported. They did nothing about it. Nothing. It ended up, and when it all washed out, as far as we know, because, you know, obviously not everybody reports, but even knowing that statistic that not everyone reports, there was over 1,000 victims that this happened to. And so these men were wrestlers at Ohio State. It happened to the fencing team. It happened to football. It happened to all the sports. So Ohio State gave Dr. Strauss a locker room at each locker room that these students had in each of their respective sports. He was given a locker room. He would go in and he would shower with these guys multiple times a day and linger in there, and he would face outward, you know, trying to look at everybody. Even other coaches had witnessed he had made advances on, and just nobody did anything about it. And so this was able to happen because of the ties with Les Wexner, who lives in Ohio, pretty much owns Ohio, and all of the, you know, the police and all of that allegedly there is pretty corrupt. And so they've been fighting for justice. This documentary came out in 2025. They've been through lawsuits with the university, and the university is still fighting it, trying not to pay. They do not want to pay these guys. And that's really their form of justice now. You know, it's too, you know, they can't, Strauss has died, you know, since then. He committed suicide in a home in Florida because the note said he was in pain and, you know, on opiates and all that. I can't think of a pretty just end for somebody who, you know, was non-repentant and just didn't care. Anyway, so I've been talking to one of the people so far who is in the documentary. His name's Mike. And so we're talking about bringing him on the show and trying to work out, you know, a time that we can do that and talk about things more in depth. So they're still over there. They still need support. Ohio is getting behind them. That's starting to get traction. And he's been doing all of this on his own. He's dedicated himself to justice and to speaking out. And so I really want to get him on so we can talk about this, so we can talk about the nature of this, to talk about what we can do in our states and our towns to help students and to raise awareness about that. I've been brainstorming that myself. How can I contribute? And maybe, you know, it's brewing. I believe this is going to happen, but this goes, if you've been with me for a while, you know that I've said before, I think things through for a bit and then all of a sudden I'll pounce and do it. So I really want to get a program together where I can go to high schools and I can go to colleges and talk to people about these behaviors and to inform them what it looks like so that people can feel more comfortable coming out, and so that they know what this type of physical and sexual abuse looks like and what that grooming looks like. So anyways, just to educate people, I'm excited. I was talking to him anyway. Yeah, so here, let me show you this trailer. Let's see, where is it? Surviving Ohio State. Here we go. And okay. Let me make this bigger.
Growing up in Ohio, everyone wants to be a Buckeye.
That was the dream.
Ohio State's athletic department is the gold standard for college sports.
The Buckeyes are a religion. Dr. Strauss was our team doctor, and he's the one we went to.
Richard Strauss was the esteemed doctor of sports medicine at Ohio State.
We walk into a room, and Doc tells me to turn the lights off.
And who are you going to tell?
There was a dirty little secret that we tiptoed around, and we just dealt with it.
He was in such a position of power because if they didn't go through his exam, they did not compete.
Our coaches knew.
It's truly amazing how many people had to look the other way for him to get away with this that long.
The wheels came off. I was never the same person.
How could these grain-fed tough guys be the victims of sexual assault?
As more people come forward, Ohio State decided to investigate themselves.
177 survivors was a small fraction of the true number. It's in the thousands.
I decided accountability needed to be had.
Behind the scenes, they begin fighting us tooth and nail.
They want to keep spending money to fight us, and then we'll keep going.
You know, somebody asked one time, and I thought, you know what? I'm a survivor of sexual assault, but I'm a victim of OSU.
It was so good and heartbreaking, of course. And it's how I keep focusing. And so I really want to help bring awareness to this because I know that, we know that the women go through this. I didn't realize, but it seems logical that this happens to boys too, to young men too. But it just didn't occur to me that it could happen on such a massive scale like this. I am, in my mind, imagined it happened on a smaller scale, aside from like the Epstein. Like I just didn't put it all together. So this is really powerful. Les Wexner's tied to Epstein, which is tied to Ohio State. Jim Jordan, who's a congressman, a state representative of Ohio, he is mentioned in the William Sasha Riley interviews. If you haven't heard that, you can go to Lisa Noel over on Substack and listen to that interview. George Tonks is somebody we covered on this channel. I played his full audio interview. You can see those a week or two ago back there. The first one is the best. I feel like that really said everything. The second one was a little bit more repetitive, so I recommend going to that first one. Anyway, these guys deserve justice and deserve our attention. And Ohio, help us encouraging Ohio State people to get behind them more. The college has continued to make billions and billions of dollars and have refused to give these guys justice. So anyways, check that out. And then you can be up to speed with, what we want to talk to Michael about when we can schedule him coming on and discussing that. And I can, have some ideas of the things you guys, the questions you have and what you'd like to know. Anyway, that is something that's a message or a topic that's near and dear to my heart, as I told you, and I've shared with you before. I've come from a background of that sort of thing, that sort of abuse and different abuses, and it's a long, hard road to recovery and mental health and clarity and sanity and all that stuff. So I can appreciate all the things that these guys go through, in that. So Donald Trump there was an audio of Donald Trump yelling about the Epstein tapes, saying he would go to war rather than let these tapes come out, or the Epstein files come out. So as we know, they promised transparency in that area, but have not delivered that. Anyway, and so, I believe, I don't know. Again, I don't know if that audio was real and not AI, but it was supposedly a leaked audio from him yelling at his staff. So it wouldn't surprise me because it's damning. And so far, being the one that said he would bring it out, he's been the one least cooperative. this administration. So, oh, that's all, and it all ties in what's the word I'm looking for? The more sadistic and cruel way, I feel like, are things that I've seen from Donald Trump. And Sasha Riley, he has a lot to say. Jim Jordan was there, and he, like I said, he was a assistant coach at Ohio State, and he's not done anything to help these guys, and he's not even admitted knowing anything when they say he absolutely did. And he's still in office. Jim Jordan is still in office. How? I don't even know how that happens. And I know that, people, Trump was found guilty and on some things, and it's amazing to me. So Keep Focusing says, I'm from Ohio. I'm too aware of Ohio's problems with trafficking. It's the 5th worst in the country, the highway system. Yes, I think you said that earlier too, either this week or last, but that is very interesting to know. And that's an interesting thing to look at as far as the logistics of how that works and what kind of cities they choose to run out of, to operate from. Anyways, it's really good, you guys. It's a really well done documentary, and I would love to get it national attention again. I don't know how popular it was when the video came out back in June 2025. I hadn't heard of it until recently. So when I was researching Jim Jordan and all of that stuff with the George Tonks and the Sasha Riley audio recordings. So yeah. Let's see. What else do we have to discuss besides everything? Are you guys keeping up on the war stuff? Or are you trying to just like filter it out, or, try to not think about it? I have been thinking about it a lot in terms of what's going on, because even though we don't know exactly what's going on, I think we all know there's a game being run on us more than ever before. I think we're more aware, and we have that feeling like something is going on, and we are being conned and fooled and lied to and manipulated, and the psychological games that are being played, I feel like, is unprecedented. Keep Focusing said, yes, and Jordan should be arrested. He's even in a position of, yes, in a position of power. Thanks for sharing it. Yeah, it's alarming to me. And they have, there's somebody, I will share links after this in a post. I'll share you links to connect with these guys on social media, to a couple of these guys that I'm talking to. And if you're interested, you can go take a look. Anyway, I think, most people, from what it looks like, are against this war that's happening and are questioning, why are we even there? I feel like all this ties into the Charlie Kirk assassination and his murder and his being taken out. And I think that's because of the Epstein. I think it's a combination. I think if he had just been pushing for the Epstein files, he wouldn't have been taken out. If he had just turned a little and changed his mind about Israel a little bit, I don't think he would have been taken out. I think it was a combination of those things. Well, and he was starting to want to look at Turning Point USA finances, which seems to have spooked everybody. And Joy says, to think those little girls just going to school to meet such fate. Yeah. I'm upset. Yeah, it's, I don't know how that happens in our country. I just don't know how that we allow that, not us here, but as a country and as a society, that when we hear about this stuff, we wouldn't just go, all in on it. I don't know how that, and I think skepticism, people's doubt and victims, people's doubt in that something could run so deep and be so prevalent in our leadership. Yeah. So anyway, so I was doing that, and I wanted to look more at Zach's video that lines out what his theory is about the military, and then dive into that booklet, that PDF booklet that talks about unconventional warfare. And in this pocket guide is what they call it. It's suggested reading for the military, for the Army, which we know is tied to Fort Huachuca. But it's talking about more foreign, but we know they're they don't just use that on foreign insurgency and all of that. So, oh yeah, Michael, that's a good thing. Michael just texted me and said, yeah, I can tell you guys that he is for sure going to come on the show. We're just going to get together when that will be. So you guys do your homework. So that we can talk to him and chat with him and have a really great conversation when he comes on. So, let's see. I'm looking at my notes here. So, okay. Oh yeah. On a side note, before we jump into Zach's video again, Peter Thiel dumped over 200 million of Palantir stock. I don't know what that means, but that's really odd. It's really odd. I don't know what it means as far as like what's going on. Some people say, it's a sign of that we're going to lose in Iran, and he knows it and might have insider information because he's, got security clearance and all that, which he's not supposed to use his security clearance information to do trades and all of that, but he did it through another company. Anyway, it's interesting that he would be dumping his own stocks. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm not anywhere near a finance person. Yeah, but I read that and I thought it was very, very interesting. So Joy saw that too. Anyway, okay. So let's go back to Zach's video and take a look. And then while we do that, I will sip on some of it's Trim Fit. Again, don't be swayed by the name because it says Trim Fit, but it's not, it's energy. Like I just do it. Amazing. Anyways, just so you know. Okay, let me make this bigger. Welcome in. Please hit the subscribe, hit all notifications bell here, hit the heart next to the chat so the algorithm knows we're here. Like it, thumbs up, all of that. That helps amazingly too. So why isn't this? Share this tab. There we go. Okay, let's go.
Is correct that something strange did happen in 2016. The U.S. Army published this document, the Unconventional Warfare Pocket Guide. This was published during Donald Trump's first election campaign. This guide contains something called the Soro diagram. It shows different techniques on how to conduct unconventional warfare. The Pocket Guide describes this as unconventional warfare is the support to a resistance movement. The idea is to use covert operations to achieve political power. This is a whole list of things you can do to influence a population, and you should note that this list includes assassination. Now, I want to be clear about what is legal here. It is legal for the U.S. to assassinate someone as long as it is part of an official military operation if they can justify that national security is at risk. For instance,
oops. Okay, did you know that? They can, as long as they can justify it, they don't have to justify it to us. They just justify it within their little circle of military intelligence. The big meeting at Fort Huachuca where Mitch Snow was. All they have to do is justify it within their ranks. It's so scary.
assassinating an al-Qaeda leader in Afghanistan was considered legal as part of the U.S. War on Terror. This was all explained in the official Department of Defense Law of War manual. So in certain circumstances, assassination is legal. But I think anyone would have a hard time justifying that the assassination of an American citizen like Charlie Kirk would be for national security. Something like that should be prosecuted as murder in a court of law. The U.S. Army actually published a number of publications about the Soro diagram during the same time period. Here's another example from an article in 2017 in Special Warfare, which is a professional journal of U.S. Army Special Forces, also published out of Fort Bragg. So we have multiple publications of the Soro diagram and U.S. Army documents around
Thank you. So did you see that it said JTAC on that magazine? So, and I think, what was the name, the acronym of the name that Mitch had said he thought that that group had disbanded, but it was put back together? Can you hear my sound? You can hear my sound now, yeah? And can you hear the video sound? I'll wait for you. Anyways, I think Mitch had said it was JTAC, but I can't be sure. I'm not sure if my memory. Good now. Perfect. Thank you. I paused it so you didn't hear me shaking my drink, or muted it, I mean. Okay, let's go.
2016 to 2017. This was clearly a topic of conversation within the Army at this time. The question we should be asking ourselves is why? Were they using unconventional warfare against the American people?
President Trump's the face of the operation, beautifully because of this. He was an outsider. And then he also had a military background, as he went to a military academy. And I know some veterans struggle with that, but whatever. He was a school where he was sent off. Yeah. He didn't go home every day, like sent off.
He knows better than the average.
Right. He knows better than the average. He's also a brilliant businessman in other manners. And some people are going to argue with that, but whatever. Builder. But a builder, innovative. He knows a lot of people all over the world. And then the people who argue with that, well, that's just whatever. There's always going to be resistance somewhere.
We can argue about whether Derek Johnson has his facts right about Joe Biden's body double and those other specifics. But I think his general concept is a legitimate question. Has there been a covert military operation going on since 2016? That is a big question.
And I think there has been, and I think it's all been a buildup to where we are today. And I think Charlie Kirk was really interfering with that.
Were people in the military trying to influence the U.S. election to benefit Donald Trump? And was Turning Point and Charlie Kirk a part of this military operation all the way back in 2016, even before Candace Owens started working for Turning Point? Roseanne Barr also went on the Tim Pool podcast and said this.
I'll start from the beginning. First, we can talk about the
I believe that they were all, I believe that they.
I cannot stand her voice. I'm going to go. I'm going to fast forward this part. Because, first of all, I don't care for her. And her voice, I just can't with the voice. Let's see.
$1,000 on that, too.
Okay, so she says that high-level officials have already been arrested and had military tribunals. She was wrong in her statement because it has never been made public. But did military tribunals happen? We really don't know. What she is calling tribunals could have just been backroom meetings where they pull in powerful people and tell them, we know what crimes you have committed. You either go along with our plan or spend the rest of your life in prison. You could call those meetings tribunals. You could call them whatever you want. But I would not be surprised if those meetings happened.
There are a lot of things we don't know about. There's a lot of things the government is doing.
There's nothing I don't know about, honey. I am a nosy old Jewish woman, and I can get in anywhere. You know what? One thing is when you're as famous and damn good looking as me, Tim, I can stick my nose in anybody's business. I know how. I'm a grandmother. And I have stuck my nose in the thick of it this time.
In my opinion, I do not believe that Roseanne has all of her facts correct, but it sounds to me like she's talking to someone. She says that she used her fame to get in contact with a high-level military official who is telling her that something is going on behind the scenes in the military to influence the election of Donald Trump. Given everything that has been happening, I think we need to find out who Roseanne Barr is talking to. In a shocking development, Roseanne does not agree with Candace Owens about what happened during Charlie Kirk's death.
Yeah, what's your take on Candace Owens?
Monster. If I see the bitch, I'll knock her the fuck out.
She loves peddling.
She loves what?
Peddling conspiratorial.
Where is all this violence coming from? Roseanne is close with all these military contacts, and now she wants to punch Candace Owens in the face. You might think all of this is crazy, but I hope that you realize that there are people out there who talk openly about the military overthrowing the U.S. government.
When I was in D.C. a few months ago meeting with the Justice Department, I went out and did some live streams. People saw these, millions of views, at the monument everywhere. And I would have the National Guard come over, and when we turned the cameras off, they would talk to us. And it was every National Guard group. I talked to 6 or 7 groups when I was there for 3 days. men and women, old and young, Hispanic, black, white, all of them said, we're listeners. We've already been told by our commanders that the Democrats are planning an uprising and a civil war. We know this. We're just being soft deployed ahead of what's coming. That is the enlisted lowest level. So the Democrats better know your dog ain't hunting. I mean, the military gets it, at least at the enlisted level.
That is Alex Jones. Alex Jones loves conspiracy theories.
Now, there it is, the gay bomb. Look it up for yourself. I mean, this is what do you think tap water is? It's a gay bomb, baby.
Okay, I want to get past that. I can't do Alex Jones
Been a
either.
Conspiracy theory that Alex Jones does not like until the Charlie Kirk murder. For the first time that I'm aware of, Alex Jones has come out and said that everyone should just trust the government.
It's a black hole. Candace, I'm worried about you. I care about you. And you're only digging a hole deeper. Most people 3 weeks ago agreed with you because there are all the questions about Charlie needs to be investigated. Okay? And it exploded your show. It was already huge. Okay? Now most people think you've gone crazy.
I find this reaction very strange. Alex Jones is taking the government side.
Okay, so I want to go to here.
And Joe Biden, someone using the codename Q, began posting information online.
Okay, we saw this yesterday.
They used the name Q because they claim to have a Q-level security clearance, which is the top secret clearance used by the Department of Energy. The best explanation I've heard of QAnon was from Jacob Chansley, who became known as a QAnon shaman.
I don't know what QAnon is. All I know about QAnon is they say you're a QAnon person, and they say that QAnon's a right-wing thing, and the only time I ever hear about it is on CNN.
Let's break this down. Q is a psychological operation. In order for mass formation hypnosis to occur, that 25 to 30% of the population has to gain some sort of heightened level of radicalism where they scream the loudest and then they get a hold of the levers of power, right? Now, when it comes down to stopping this process from happening, all you need is 5% or more of the population to not become hypnotized and say, no, this is ludicrous. You are nuts. We are not doing that. Now, we've seen the effects of mass formation hypnosis, critical factor bypass, and neurolinguistic programming in Nazi Germany. We saw it with the Bolshevik Revolution in Russia and the USSR. We saw it in the Red Revolution in China and the Chinese Communist Party, okay? So we've seen the effects of this process, and it is psychological warfare.
What he is saying is that he believes that QAnon was a reaction to Operation Mockingbird. Operation Mockingbird is well documented. We know it existed. It was a CIA program to influence the US mainstream media. In 2013, Obama signed a law called the Smith-Mundt Modernization Act. Within the scope of normal CIA operations, they create propaganda materials for foreign countries. This new law removed restrictions so that the US government could now share these materials with the US media. People will criticize this claim by saying,
so they removed restrictions so that our government can share propaganda with the media. And remember, Peter Thiel has just acquired a lot of the media with the Warner Brothers, the whole merger thing like that. He's acquired CNN and all of that, which he is, he's Oracle, which is part of the Stargate program that Trump announced when Trump came into office. He's a huge investor of that, and he is all for keeping all of our data, all of it, medical, all of it, storing it and being able to use it to predict crime, to have a safer society so that they're always listening, they're always watching.
that we don't know for sure if the CIA is doing this. And that is true. We have no idea what the CIA is doing. I cannot point to any specific examples of people at ABC or CBS who are spewing government propaganda. But it is in the law. You can go read it for yourself. We just don't know to what extent it is happening.
So Q is this person who's posting questions.
I don't think it's a person. I think it's a group.
So Q is a group that's posting questions on fora like 4chan or this other one.
Yeah.
Acun. And you're saying that is a psyop from the highest levels of government.
Or I would say most likely highest levels of the military.
Okay.
Because military intelligence and the intelligence community tend to work together.
Sure.
Now, what led me to that conclusion is the numerical code in the Q drops themselves and the gap code between the time that Trump would tweet something and Q would do a Q drop and what is called the Q clock. What the Q drops were doing was very, very similar to the way military intelligence communicates. And this is how it is that you're able to communicate a message in plain sight without the enemy knowing what exactly it is that you're saying because it's all encrypted, it's all encoded.
This is the story of QAnon. The CIA was using Project Mockingbird. They were feeding propaganda to the media in an attempt to influence the election for Joe Biden. Military intelligence responded with QAnon to try and influence the election.
Awesome. Thank you. Keep focusing.
election for Donald Trump. These were competing psychological operations aimed at the American people, allegedly. We all know what happened in 2020. The mainstream media announced Joe Biden was the winner of the 2020 presidential election. The people listening to QAnon believed the election was stolen. This resulted in the protests at the Capitol. What I am saying is that I believe that all of this was orchestrated by the intelligence agencies, and we, the American people, are the victims. If you do not believe me, let me remind you of something. There is roughly 2 months between Election Day in November and when the new president takes office in January. During this period, Donald Trump made very few public appearances. In fact, in 2 months, he only made 5 public appearances. One of those appearances was to go to West Point for the Army football game on December 12th, 2020. This is very interesting in hindsight, given what we know. I want you to watch this footage and tell me what you see. Does this look like a man who was just defeated in an election? Because it looks to me that this is Donald Trump telling the Army that no matter who is in the White House, that he is still the Army's president.
On. We did this part yesterday, so some people here were facing
protest. These National Guardsmen were on duty with a mission to protect the president against potential threats. Some are facing out to ensure the safety of all.
So that was for Biden's, when he was entering in his stockade.
What do you think? Let me know in the comments.
What is that thing called?
If there's anyone who knows about the military, do these soldiers look like they're facing away because they're looking for danger?
The stockade.
Now I know that people are going to criticize me in this video for getting into conspiracies, but I don't think I'm saying anything that is too far-fetched. 1, the military convinced Donald Trump to run for president. 2, there's infighting among intelligence agencies. 3, people within the military wanted to influence the election. 4, Charlie Kirk and Tyler Boyer have a strange photo flashing hand signs. 5, there is evidence Turning Point was violating election laws. 6, there is evidence of financial irregularities at Turning Point. 7, Turning Point has multiple employees with connections to Fort Huachuca. And 8, Fort Huachuca is the U.S. Army Intelligence Center of Excellence. This is the definition of a conspiracy. The only question is, how far did this conspiracy go? Did the military actually break the law to try to influence the election for Donald Trump? Now, with all of this in mind, let us revisit what happened on the day that Charlie Kirk was murdered. I'm going to show you 3 things that most people have missed. Number 1, the van. On the day of the shooting, there was a black van pulled up right behind.
I think Zach's a little far behind as far as looking at all this stuff. I don't know where you guys fall. Let me know. Have you seen this theory about the van trunk being open, the shot being fired, and then it being closed? So that's what he's talking about here. I don't know. I would say if I had a van and I started hearing shots, I might close the back. It's also possible it's happening that somebody fired a shot into the, some sort of material inside the van to stop the bullet. That's to me the least of it. I don't necessarily buy that part. So let me go next. What is this?
And then it's Kirk himself who starts the countdown by tipping his nose. The trunk opens, Kirk confirms by tipping his cap in his ear, and the bodyguard also gives his affirmative signal.
We've all seen that.
Cover, I'm going to shut the trunk of my van. I find this extremely suspicious. Number 2, the audio. This same YouTuber took audio from the different camera angles and used it to try.
Yeah, so I think Zach's a little farther behind than a lot of us. So what is your theory? You keep focusing says that they watched and researched basically all theories. What's your favorite? What do you think is the strongest? So he's just going by that. So he's going through the sound and all of that.
To Charlie Kirk. According to the audio, it is not possible for Tyler Robinson to have shot Charlie Kirk.
We all know that already.
That sleuth named Jeff Renz for putting a lot of this information together. And also thank you to another internet sleuth, Dave from Kansas, for helping me research this. Also, I have to give credit to journalist Stu Peters, who's one of the first people to talk about Brown Shirt Man. Here is another angle of the shooting.
Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10
Okay,
years?
yeah, so he's talking about brown shirt man possibly having a palm gun, which I don't.
Who works with TPUSA Faith. A lot of people have been wondering why he's holding his cell phone this way. Frank Turek claims he was on FaceTime. This does not look like a FaceTime call to me. This looks like he is recording video footage. These are 3 angles. Just the lenses are big, the frames themselves.
So the lenses, it looks to me like he has those plastic things over his lens. So I'm not a fan of that.
It can be seen when viewed through IR glasses.
A fan of them running this psychological up on us, which is what basically I wanted him to go over with us. Let's see what he says here.
Military operation. We need a full investigation. We need congressional hearings. One of the questions everyone keeps asking is why Kash Patel, the head of the FBI, is not investigating any of these.
Yeah. So I wanted us to go just in more detail there so that now, pause, so that we could dive into this guide that he's talking about, this pocket guide, because I think there's some important information, and I think that we need to know what it looks like, what it looks like when they're running, psyops and running a game on us. The best, we need to be informed. Hi, Fearless. What do you think of last night's Bride of Charlie? What do you think? So I was stuck on the part if Erika Kirk, why she didn't go to school for that amount of time. I'm still thinking that I think they pulled her out because of something that she was doing, and I think it's very well possible she was being trained for something, but I don't know. I'm not super strong on that, but I do think that, because why that 8 months? Maybe Candace will tell us more about that today. Yeah, it does look like a chew tin. That's what I was thinking too. And they do those. A lot of these guys do the like the nicotine pouches and stuff, which I still think come in round tins. But it's not a gun. I'm fairly certain of that. I'm not in his back pocket. Obviously, I can't know for sure, but who seems super, let's see. There's also no ridge. Yeah, he just seems super defensive. Keep focusing. Combo electrocution and the high-tech laser-directed weapon of some sort. Yeah. There were drones out there too, and not sure how precise and small the wound they can make. Yeah, I'm in favor of the shaped charge, and it looks to me like it blew up and then the shrapnel hit him in the neck. That's my favorite theory. Oh, Kash Patel literally looks defensive and lame in he looks scared all the time. And you think that she was pregnant. Hello, Quinby. And was having a baby. Yeah, that's very possible. And the mic could have played a part. Yep. Well, and remember, you guys, that whole, the factory that made those shape charge things, whatever the shape charges, they had a contract with the government. All of a sudden they blew up. The whole thing, the whole manufacturing plant, and everybody in it was killed. And that was a very short-term contract. The window was very, very small. So Fearlessly says, my first thought was basic training and specialty training, which sounds crazy, I know, but it was the first thought, not actually the pregnancy thought that I get would be for some first thought. Yeah. I mean, it does sound crazy. All this sounds crazy, but that's because it is, and because we haven't been able to share information for a long time and haven't been able to communicate in the way that, and we haven't utilized one another in the way that we have come to learn on the internet, which is a beautiful thing. Erika, I did not see anyone except the pastor's wife for 6 months. She was definitely away having a baby. Well, remember she hid while she was pregnant with Charlie's babies? Remember, she wasn't seen much. I don't think we have any photos of her pregnant. And she says herself she was as a sacred, sacred time. Let's see, Maggie. I think Cash partakes in the probably. That's so funny. Maybe while he's on the job. Oh, that's so funny. That's true. I forgot about that. Yeah. So that's very strange because it was at such a short window, and that's just crazy how it just went away. The stork was around. Okay. So this pocket guide, we won't be able to go like word for word. We'll kind of scan it a bit and try to, it's 44 pages. So, but because I had meant to go through all of this on my own and kind of just recap it, but then I got busy talking to Michael and all of that. And so, if you missed the first part of the show, be sure to go back and watch it, guys, because there's some good information. And I will have a drawing of anybody that's here and makes a comment. I will put everybody's name in a random drawing, and you'll win a prize, so you can see what that is later. Anyways, Erika's mind is an etch. Hi, Mark. You shake it up and it all disappears, and then you can draw new lines to everything. That's funny. That is funny. Okay, let's see. Let's look at this pocket guide. And let me come over here. Okay. So we will go up. What time do we have? Okay, we have about 30 minutes. So this handy dandy pocket guide, the purpose of this document is to provide a pocket reference. Who carries this around? It's 44 pages, by the way. Maybe that's what brown skin guy, what's the guy's name? Maybe he had that in his back pocket. Maybe it's a round pocket guide. Oh, goodness. Oh, Quimby, what? Quimby says, I have been updating Candace's and Erika Kirk's family trees on Ancestry. Yes! If anyone is interested in looking at them, I have been following info on several. Yes, that would be amazing. Let's see, fearlessly. Well, funny enough, something reminded me of some research I did last year because of the statement that Ariana Grande made. That is very cool. Yes. Hey, JK. Guys, hit the thumbs up, please. And hit the heart button next to the chat. Ariana jokingly said they did the brain erasure program on her. Then I did a deep dive and found something interesting. Oh my gosh. You know what I think would be fun for members, since like now I'm kind of official and I can be monetized and have member perks and all that. If we decide to do that, is we could do like a joint, like it would be like a joint stream to where we could talk about all this stuff. Like, I don't know. I'm just playing. Ever since last night, I've been playing around with ideas. Okay, so I don't know why that made me so small. It shouldn't have. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, fearlessly. Okay, so the purpose of the document is to, it's a handy dandy pocket guide, and for quick reference in case you forgot how to run an operation. Like, you know, just in case you need this, like, wait, how do I brainwash somebody? What does that look like? What's my starting point? So I found this interesting. The point of contact for this guide is the United States Army Special Operations Command, Deputy Chief of Staff, G3, blah, 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 Fort Bragg. But it just feels like it lines up with Huachuca. Just a quick stop. Okay. Okay, let's go down. This guide is a quick reference, so I'll sort of scan and we'll see if we can go through, like, get to some important parts. So theory, principles, tactics, I'm right here, and techniques and procedures. And you guys, if you want to print this up, you know, you could minimize it. You could make it real small, print it up, throw it in your purse, throw it in your cubby in your vehicle, just in case you wanted to know how to do this to somebody. Anyway, it's not a complete treatment of the subject. Standard operating procedure. Yep, just in case. These are best practices. Okay, the term UW on conventional warfare often elicits strong responses. Do you think? Both negative and positive. I don't know. I'm not sure who would think that's positive, but though many have a fundamental misunderstanding of the term itself. So we are misunderstanding this probably. If we don't like it, we're misunderstanding. But its application of the term supporting U.S. policy, I'm right here. Simply, UW is the support to a resistance movement. Historically and most often, the U.S. supported a semi-organized military, semi-organized made me laugh. Militarized irregular force, known in doctrine as a guerrilla force. We're all familiar with that term as part of an insurgency, such as the U.S. support to the Afghanistan Northern Alliance in 2001. This is most often due to a foreign policy decision on when to get involved. And okay, but the UW is much broader and adaptive. The methods and techniques used and the planning for the operations are dependent on the state of the resistance movement environment and the desired end state. Support to resistant organization in its incipient state requires significantly different planning and support than one in the war of movement state. Okay, so that we don't need to go through that. Thus, to prepare and train a force to conduct UW writ large, the theoretical construct must encompass all developmental states of the resistance, numerous environments, ideologies, and circumstance, and account for all possible paths to a desired end state. The straw man and scenarios discussed in the doctrine are not prescriptive but descriptive of a comprehensive campaign necessary to explore all possibilities and their applicability. So here's what I'm thinking is, I think Zach is onto something, that this whole planning didn't end with Donald. His election was supposed to take place. It didn't, but he stayed in control, stayed in communication as a shadow president, so to speak, with the military. And they had all laid all their plans, because it was shocking to me when he came out, when he started doing things. I'm like, this is something that seems like had to have been in the plans and in the works for quite a while. This takes years to do. So he kind of had I feel like he had an advantage working in the background when he wasn't president for that 4 years. Okay. UW has a wide range of applications. I'm right here. In the contemporary environment, whether a textbook approach operation supporting the Syrian resistance, preparing a partner state ahead of potential occupation, or enabling a tribal group. Potential occupation. That's really interesting. So many people are saying we're occupied by Israel. I believe it's true 100% actually. But I think it's all been prepped for that. So enabling a tribal group to resist Daesh. I don't know how to say that. Sorry if I mispronounced. Occupation in the Iraqi city. Special operations commanders must understand UW theories, principle, and tactics and adapt them based on circumstances, the resistance, the opposition, and the desired end state. So now they go on and they're talking about all the different definitions, which we can go past because, these terms, we can kind of get it. We know what guerrilla warfare is, guerrilla forces, all that. Okay, so most recently, let's see. Joint doctrine defines UW, I'm right here, as activities conducted to enable a resistance movement or insurgency to coerce, disrupt, or overthrow a government or occupying power by operating through or with an underground auxiliary and guerrilla force. And I feel like that's been going on. More recently published public law defines UW as activities conducted. Oh, public law. Okay. Conducted to enable a resistance movement or insurgency to coerce, disrupt, or overthrow. Okay. Anyways, resistance movement, insurgency, counterinsurgency, foreign internal defense. Okay, I'm going to coerce. We know what that is. Disrupt. A disruption prevents or impedes someone or some entity from doing something it would prefer to do. So this is where I feel like these are the things that where we're running into the whole Charlie Kirk of it all. And he was a disruption in their plans and what they wanted to do. Big time. Just like Tucker Carlson is. Oh, dear Lord, keep him safe because they are coming after Tucker. Although disruption can be a relatively small scale, it can also be large scale, such as coordinated regional resistance. Overthrow, we kind of know what that is. Underground, what is this? A cellular organization within the resistance that has the ability to conduct operations in areas that are inaccessible to guerrillas, such as urban areas under the control of local security forces. Hello. Hi, Hope. Let me look at this. Real Isaac, shout out to Mod Hope. Who's your goat? Thank you for the super chat, Isaac. That's my second super chat. I had the first one at the top of the show from Joy, and now I got the second one from Isaac. That's so sweet. Thank you. Auxiliary, guerrilla force, denied area. Let's get down to the nitty gritty. So this talks about indigenous populations. They probably are considering us indigenous right now because we are the resistance. We are the resistance. Anyways. So let's go down here. The auxiliary represents the clandestine. Okay. The public component functions as I'm right here. Function as an overt political and or material support entity. The public components may negotiate with the nation state government or occupying power on behalf of resistance movements objectives and will typically make over appeals for domestic and international support. Public components may represent resistance, strategic leadership, or merely an interest section. Okay, so the guerrilla, we know that. Okay. The public component refers to an overt, I'm right here, an overt political manifestation of a resistance. Public components are primarily responsible for negotiations with, okay, I feel like this is repetitive. Power representatives on behalf of, okay, blah. Shadow government. Here we go. This is it. The shadow government consists of I'm right here. consists of governmental elements and activities performed by an irregular organization that replaces the governance functions of the existing regime. Examples include security, health services, and taxation. Members of the shadow government can originate from any element of the irregular organization, e.g., underground auxiliary or guerrilla force. The shadow government operates in the denied area of an occupied territory. Government exile, that doesn't kind of apply. Okay, let's go to here. So here is the thing that we want to look at a little bit closer. Let's go. Is this going to... Let me go smaller here. There we go. Okay, so here we're well past the yellow. We are negotiating like international strategic communications. That all has already been happening. And down below the dotted line is shadow governance activities. So here's what they're doing in the shadows. Okay, increased political violence, terror, and sabotage. Okay, that is political violence, terror, and sabotage, which I feel like was accomplished with Charlie Kirk. Negotiations with government representatives. Intense sapping of a morale of government administration, police, and military. Intense sapping of government administration, police, and military. What does that mean? An intense sapping. Are they saying using up those things, like making them, like spreading them so thin that things get like kind of heated, like they've been like with ICE and the police and the administration being fired, like thinning that out? Okay. Anybody, if you know what that means, let us know in the chat. Increased underground activities to demonstrate strength of revolutionary organization. Sabotage and terror to demonstrate weakness of government. Overt and covert pressures against government, strikes, riots, and disorders. Intensification of propaganda. We have seen that, you guys. We are seeing this played out. The whole Israeli thing, the support for everything they've been doing. Increase in dissatisfaction, psychological preparation for revolt. So if we take this and we apply it to Donald Trump, say he's wanted to dismantle the government. We thought it was for good reasons. I think a lot of people thought it was. I wasn't a fan of Trump. I'm not a Democrat, but I definitely wasn't a believer in him. I had no trust whatsoever. But if he wants to overthrow the government and change government, which he has proven he wants to do, he wants to take charge of it all and have everything by executive order and oversight and control by loyalists. Okay. The establishment of formalized resistance elements appeal to extraterritorial support infrastructure, spreading subversive organizations into all sectors of life in country and region, penetration into professional, social, and political organization and into all parts of society, recruitment of like-minded individuals. This is where Charlie Kirk came in, I believe, and others. Indoctrination and use of these for organizational purposes, which is where Erika Kirk comes in right now, because she got rid of everything Charlie Kirk was talking about, every single thing. Infiltration of foreign agents and agitators and foreign propaganda material, money, weapons, and equipment, increased agitation, unrest, and disaffection, infiltration of administration, police, and military and national organizations, and slowdowns and strikes. So they're talking about making these things happen. They came in and they thinned out the government, and we have all seen what's taken place. Assassination, forming favorable public opinion, advocating a national cause, creation of distrust of established institutions. Creation of atmosphere of wider discontent through propaganda, lies, and political psychological effort, discrediting government, police, and military and authorities, dissatisfaction with political, economical, social, administrative, and or conditions, national aspiration, independence, or desire for ideological and other changes. So to me, going through this, it doesn't 100% support what Zach was saying. Although in part we can see what kind of mindsets they have in controlling a population and all of that. Hello, Jeff. 40+ page quick reference guide is hilarious. It is. Yeah, I thought that was funny. So, okay. So back to Army doctrines. Oh, thank you for the super chat. Army doctrine describes whatever, Army Reserve, whatever, role in the phase. Okay. Activities before a presidential finding include shaping or conducting preparation of the environment. The extent of these activities is dependent on global combatant command requirements and RSOF, access and placement. Other Department of Defense terms used to describe this period include steady state, left of bang, and persistent engaging. This document describes this period of time as phase 0. Since each UW campaign is unique, all phases of UW may not occur depending upon the objective, scale, and tempo of the campaign and the success and failures of the resistance. Additionally, not all geographic areas where the resistance is active may be in the same phase during the UW campaign. So, preparation. Resistance of external sponsors conduct psychological preparation to unify population against established government. So I'm just going to go down here. More during a steady state. Okay, preparation. This goes into more initial contact. Infiltration. Okay. During infiltration, a pilot team clandestinely infiltrates the operational area to link up with the resistant force. Okay. The buildup. So this is so long. I'm going to go down here to see if there's any more. Promote new government legitimacy, blah, blah, blah. So foreign disclosures. Oh, that's the other thing Charlie was looking into, is making AIPAC register as a foreign agent, which they are not a fan of. Okay, so this is just all a bunch of stuff. So joint task lists. Anyways, but going through this, since we did it together, I was like, oh, let's just do it together since I didn't have time to go through it by myself. Anyways, from what it looks like, Zach took just one portion of that, the arrow, the graphic, where it says assassination, and yes, they can and will, and we won't know about it if they feel like it has to do with security and all of that. They can justify assassinating somebody. That is what I think happened, and I also think that Erika knew about it. I think she knew. And I think she knew in advance. I was going to say, if she didn't know, she knew afterwards, but I believe she knew in advance and was part of the strategic planning of the whole thing. Opinions, guys. So hi, welcome into Teresa Better Life. If you haven't hit the thumbs up, please do that. This is the test. I can tell if somebody's in here and doesn't hit that. No, I can't. But anyway, so put and please comment, because if you comment, then I will enter you into a drawing for one of my free for a free thing of this. About this is amazing stuff. If you missed the first part, go back and watch. You can learn about it. It's like it's valuable. It's gold to me. It's my favorite product. One of my very top favorite products of all time. So anyways, it's in celebration of becoming monetized and being here for that happened last night. So yes. Thank you, Jamie, for the super sticker. Hello. Yay. Thank you so much. I will draw at the end. I thought I would do it at the end of the show, but I have to enter everybody's username into a random thing so I can, it can be random. A random generator thing, so I can pick one of you. But it's the most amazing stuff ever. I think you will love it. I believe you will. 100% the taste, the effects, all of it. Anyway, so I think that's definitely what happened. I think Zach, he did a little bit of stretching in areas where, he's probably, I think he's off a bit, but I think he's on to the right track, and I think he'll get on. He'll go back, he'll do research and all that. He'll see. I think he'll come to a different conclusion maybe than what he does now. And he seems like the type of person who will, he'll go, yeah, maybe I'll, I changed my mind, but maybe he went through everything already. I don't see how you can go through everything though and still come out with the palm gun, because that, even if it had a laser on it, that's so awkward. And you have to you can't at this level, the way the guy was, do you guys remember his name in the brown shirt where he's adjusting his sleeve and it looks like that would just be so incredibly hard. Yeah. And inaccurate. I think it would be inaccurate. It doesn't seem like that. Yeah, he does seem to admit that. And do you notice that he puts allegedly in parentheses in all his titles? Oh, that's funny. I think that's hilarious. Okay. What time are we at, guys? Are we here yet? Oh, we're so close. So as far as Candace's, so I told you guys, I'm more of a get me to the meat of a thing. And so even though she's laying groundwork and I know that, I become impatient. I'm like, get me the good stuff. Some people like the historical stuff, and I think that's good to know, but I'm more of one tell me all about Erika, because that's who I'm judging, right? Irregardless of what her family has done, it's good to know. I mean, I like knowing the information that she could have been, groomed all along to be a illegal person, to be a fraudster, grifter. Do you guys remember that when she said she was giving that award to one of the people on stage, and she said this is an amazing gift, but she misspoke and said this is an amazing grift or something like that. Do you guys remember that? Did you ever see it? Okay, so to catch people up who have just come in, welcome. Thank you for being here. We have the drawing that's going to happen, and I'll announce the winner afterward in the evening. I'll make a post, so be sure to check the posts. I will usually communicate with you guys through posts on YouTube. Also, I'm talking to a gentleman named Michael, who was in the documentary Surviving Ohio State. Go back, it's on HBO. I'm sure you can purchase to stream it or something. If you don't have HBO, it's a documentary. It's really good. There's some things going on at Ohio State. We're ironing out details about getting him onto the show to talk about all of that. It has to do with Epstein, Wexner, and Jim Jordan, who is a representative of Ohio still, and all that whole corrupt mess. And it ties into all of this corruption and fraud and lies that our government's been telling us that we're finding all kinds of things about. She was glitching. Yes, she was. Yes, she was. She was glitching. Was that a weird? I'm gonna regret trying to do the glitching thing later, I think. Yes, please subscribe if you're just now joining. I appreciate that. We will, as we grow and grow and grow, we'll be doing different things. I was telling everybody earlier, that's also in an earlier thing, is that I had, I tell you how kind of the short side of the story about how I got to doing this. And I've been, going slowly and, getting momentum under me. So yeah, so we're good. It's good momentum. Hi, Loretta. Thank you so much. I almost made 500. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine? That'd be awful. That would be awful. I'd give it back though. I'm sure there'd be a way. Like, that would be crazy. I wonder if there is. If you make that kind of mistake, do you get your money back? I wish I could afford it. That's okay. I really appreciate the 5, and Isaac and Hope, you too. And oh yeah, that's so scary. What NZ are you from? What's NZ? I'd keep it. Okay, it would be awesome. Let's try. Let's try. Everybody put 500 in the super chat. I'll give it back, I promise. Oh goodness, that would be crazy. I think I've accidentally done something like that too. Let's see. I'm gonna refresh Candace's side so that we can make sure we've got that. What does her description say today? Let me see. I can't make her back. Let's see. It doesn't. She doesn't give a description. She just says episode 5. You first. Okay. You first. That's funny. So I'm thinking of ideas to do for, like, if we have a members only thing, of what that would look like. Like, my mind's just like going now of how to make things better. Oh no. No, you didn't. What did your mom, did you die? What did your mom do? Well, she's seen it all before. Maybe in smaller form. Oh my gosh. I would die. I would die. And I think my kids would die. Yeah. Not like oh my gosh. So that would be crazy. Anyway, let me get, where are we on time? We're 2 minutes away. Drinking, not thinking. Wait, Jamie, were you the one hung over the other day? Who was hung over in the chat? You all were talking, having a conversation. I think it was Jamie. Was that you? You might want to slow down a little bit. Make it last. Teresa, I don't know if you talk about it, but interested what your opinion about Jim Carrey is. Yeah, so that they had an impersonator come on of him, I guess. Is that true? I thought, when I saw the picture, I just thought, are you talking about his looks? Like, I just thought he had plastic surgery, although that would have been some crazy good plastic surgery. I haven't talked about it. But he's a different one. Has he even said anything more recently? Like, he was sounding a little bit crazy for a while, right? Thanks for dropping in, Real Isaac. See you later. Have a good night. So I haven't read anything more about the thing, except there was an impersonator that was, I believe that. I don't think. Do you think they're really cloning people, you guys, and making people like back in the day, back in the 90s? Yeah. Yeah. So that was an impersonator. Supposedly, that was somebody who put on a prosthetic mask and went to that thing and was talking to him. I didn't think it sounded like him at all. They didn't behave at all. If they're an impersonator, they need to do better because it didn't seem like him. That's not Jim Carrey. Jim's a little, he's unmistakable, I think. Dang, I've got to run, but I'm going to watch the video recording later. See you. Bye, Jeff. Have a good night. Thanks for stopping in. If you haven't made a comment, make a comment because that's the only way you can be entered into the drawing. Otherwise, you can't be entered. And you want this. I promise you want it. Oh, did you see the cover of Candace's? Hold on. This is funny. Okay. Bride of Charlie. That's so funny. Do you think her mom's crazy? Anyways, yeah, about Charlie, what's his name? Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey. Yeah, I don't know that I think of him as being cloned or anything like that. If they're doing it, that's crazy. But I was going to say back in the day in the 90s when I was into conspiracy and we did research at the library at that point on a microfiche. If y'all remember that. Anyway, and I think there was, anyway, they had talked about the possibility of people leaving and going, what are you calling it? Colonizing other places and other areas, and that people would be cloned or they would be replaced or something, not necessarily cloned, but with, they would just kind of go start colonizing somewhere else. And they were taking the best of the best, the scientists, the artists, the doctors, all of that would be beginning that planting of new worlds. What's this? Anyone see the Biden thing when the mask gets messed up, talking about his body double? No, I haven't seen that. But did you see the one with Beyonce with the pregnant belly that collapses? Hold on. Why isn't she bigger now? I'm going to update. Why isn't my screen getting bigger? There we go. Different layout here, guys. So she went on a talk show, Beyonce, and she had a pregnant belly, but when she went to sit down, it just looks like it collapses under her. And so people are thinking that her kids aren't really her kids. And speaking of pregnancies, I hope Candace is able to find a picture of Erika pregnant. Or she says definitively she couldn't and nobody has one. I can't imagine anybody, there not being a picture out there anywhere. Yes, we were just talking. Hi, Anthony. We did see Wolves and Finance. We watched that a little bit more today. I think it's right on point as far as that. I don't think the palm gun is, but the military and the army, yes.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the players are now in place. You know who the cast of characters are. It is definitely time for us to begin pulling it all together for you on a neat timeline. Erika's missing years. Where is she? Is she in Eastern Europe? Why was she ever in Eastern Europe? Also, is it possible that Lori, her mom, was in Afghanistan? Is Lori actually a direct descendant of Vince Lombardi? I actually think she is. Also, we've got Tyler Boyer out in Romania now too. What exactly goes on in Romania? What goes on in Eastern Europe? What is everybody doing there? We have a lot to unpack today, so let's jump right in. Welcome back to Bride of Charlie.
What happens in Romania stays in Romania.
Maybe.
Not with Candace on the case. Yeah, me too, Jamie.
Okay, so we left you guys off at Tesseract, right? Erika's at Tesseract, formerly the Looking Glass School. I cannot get enough of that. What goes on in Arizona? Now, at the time, of course, this was a brand new concept. Tesseract charter schools, private companies coming in to run schools better. It's going to be funded with, obviously, government budgets, but they are going to do it better and produce better results. Tesseract, we have learned, is backed financially by the Bush family, the Walton family, a model that's been designed by psychologists alongside Dr. Franz Weisstein. I mean, what could possibly go wrong? Or maybe a better question is, what could possibly go right with this cast of characters? Now, I had alluded to you that Dr. Jerry conducts a lot of research. They had to give her own research center, gender center for the Beehive, by the way, under the guise of exploring issues related to feminism and gender studies. Jerry Franzway travels. She travels abroad a lot. In particular, she travels to Eastern Europe. She did this with a team to research gender issues in 1990. Take a look at this. Wow. According to Franzway, the final big project of the semester, this is at Radford, will be taking a group of students to Eastern Europe. We will research the expectations of men and women as work life and day-to-day life change after the wall came down. Really? Imagine your kid goes to this school and the teacher's going, we're gonna go in 1990 to Eastern Europe after the wall came down, the fall of the Berlin Wall. You're just gonna jump right in there. Do you understand what happened after that? Chaos. That's what happened. Chaos and carnage. Again, why would you take students there to research gender issues? Do we think that gender issues are ranking high in the minds of those Eastern Europeans? Now, for clarity, as soon as the Berlin Wall fell, the intra-Eastern European wars began, right? The Yugoslav wars, bloody, brutal. That began same year. August of 1990, when Franzway is just going out there. Dr. Franzway is going out there. So I have to ask myself, what is she actually doing? Let me enter this into the conversation. Are you guys aware of how many children go missing during times of war, during all that chaos? How many kids are trafficked during the fog of war? Now, I know this because one of my best friends in college was Romanian. She grew up with real gypsies grabbing children off the street. She would tell me a story about how she was almost trafficked when she was a child. And it makes you wonder, where exactly, when they are taking these children, where exactly are they taking these children to? How could that go unnoticed? Now, I still will feel this way about Dr. Franzway. I will state this unequivocally. I don't think Dr. Jerry Franzway, who is a verifiable fraud, was there in Eastern Europe researching gender issues. May she rest in peace, but that's my opinion and I'm sticking to it. Now, I should also mention that Tesseract had a principal, she would actually climb a ladder at Tesseract while Erika was a student, who had very strong military ties, a woman named Nancy Gerard Hall, she will become. Nancy was a military brat. Her father was Colonel Paul Tracy Gerard, who was a member of the Scottish Rite. A lot of that going on, a lot of Freemasonry going on at Fort Leavenworth, Kansas, out in Kansas. He was a part of the Blue Lodge, Blue Masonic Lodge in Galesburg, Illinois as well. He was also the chief military law enforcement officer at the 7th Army in Europe. That's in Germany, Stuttgart, Germany in the 1950s. Look, maybe he knows where Jean-Michel Trogneau went. Maybe they crossed paths. I don't know. The point is, it's not the only military tie. Nancy's brother, Paul Tracy Gerard Jr., would follow in his father's footsteps. He was a major in the military in 1977, and I'm sure he continued climbing the ranks after that because he was also a member of a military honor society known as Scabbard and Blade. But that's not it. Also, her first husband, Stephen Edward Sample, he comes from a long line of military men himself. He was a second lieutenant in the Air Force when they married. So that's Nancy. She's in charge of the curriculum and much more over at Tesseract. Now, I think it's fair to wonder, to speculate, whether or not she approached that job with military precision. Anyway, let's jump back into our Erika Kirk timeline so we can look at all of this cleanly. Okay, let's start at 1988. We know Erika is born on either November 20th or November 22nd, depending on who's telling the story. Who's the clerk? We don't know. In 1990, Dr. Jerry Franzfey, and I want to mention this about Dr. Jerry Franzfey. I don't know if she is still married to Kent, because we can't find marriage records between Lori and Kent, but we also could not locate divorce records between Dr. Jerry Franzfey and Kent. So I'm just going to put that out there. But what we do know is 1990, she's going to start conducting research in Eastern Europe. 1991, we've already shown you this. Erika will attend a private daycare. That's at the Walnut Corner in Cincinnati, Ohio, which is in a corporate business building that's owned by Child Care Visions. We have that photo for you, which was taken Halloween 1991. Erika is on the brink of her third birthday. In 1994, Erika is attending St. Ursula Villa for kindergarten. That's, again, 94 to 95. In 1995, Erika is attending the Tesseract School down in Paradise Valley. That's going to be from her 1995 to 1996 school year. And her parents, Kent and Lori, allegedly get married that year in Marblehead, Massachusetts, although we cannot find a single shred of documentation that verifies that. Does it mean it doesn't exist? It just means that we haven't come across it, and neither have any of our sleuths. And our sleuths are usually pretty good at that. 96, she is still at the Tesseract School. 98, she is also at the Tesseract School. That's the 98 to 99 school year. Erika is in the third grade. And this is when Lori and Kent will file for divorce in Cincinnati. We'll note that Kent is living already in Arizona, and Lori is listed as living in Cincinnati, at least if their divorce docs are to be believed. Now, we should discuss 1999, okay? Because I was sort of under the impression, I had indicated to you guys that Erika might have been enrolled at St. Ursula Villa back up in Ohio from 1999 to 2002. But we stand corrected on that. That's not accurate. People who attended during those years up in Ohio at St. Ursula Villa, they emailed us, they went through their yearbooks, and they said that she is not featured in those yearbooks. So we don't have Erika from 2000 until 2002. Now, it's possible that she went to a different nearby school in Scottsdale. So I'm going to put it out again, a little APB here. If you went to school with Erika Franzfey anywhere in the United States from the years 2000 to 2002, we would like to hear from you. Okay, we'd like to hear from you. Now, what we can confirm, and this is where it gets pretty interesting, is that around this time, you will recall American men and women are being shipped out to Afghanistan. Nobody really knows why, but Operation Enduring Freedom is going to begin. Don't ask me how or why. If Saudis allegedly drove planes into the World Trade Center, why are we immediately a couple of weeks later on October 7th, 2001, sending people to Afghanistan? It's very confusing. None of it makes any sense. Don't try to understand corruption. It's very dizzying. But that's what happens. Operation Enduring Freedom begins. And we should note that Erika's mother, her company, E3 Tech, is going to be used for this operation. That's according to its current website. Okay. E3 Tech has a website, and on its website, it tells us that they participated in Operation Enduring Freedom. And not only that, because don't forget, like, Lori at some point falls and bumps her head, and she's Steve Jobs. She's Nikola Tesla. I don't know. She's just a tech genius. She is even going to eventually win an award for her contributions to Operation Enduring Freedom. Did Erika go overseas with her mother during those years? Maybe in 2001. I don't even know if Lori went overseas during those years. I'm just telling you that according to their own website, E3 Tech, they received an award for whatever they were doing for that operation. We'll leave that open-ended because we truly do not know. Okay, so let's get back into our timeline. Let's take a look at 1999. Again, we don't know where Erika is for that school year, but that's going to be the year that Lori files a lot of different companies, corporations. December 1st, 1999, with the help of Rick and Donna Erpenbeck, she forms Virtual Registration International Incorporated, again indicating that she's going to be doing some work overseas. She also forms Intelemet, Incorporated, on September 24th. Lori Franzfey also is going to form Intelemet International Incorporated of Delaware on December 2nd of that year. Okay, she's getting ready to do
Wow.
business. Go to the year 2000, Tesseract School goes bankrupt. Millions are apparently missing. You don't know where Erika is that year, but you can see for-profit corporate drive to run public schools. It's gone. It just has a full-blown meltdown, and that ends that. In 2001, as I mentioned to you, we got 9/11, we have Operation Enduring Freedom, and Lori's E3 tech company is going to be used for that operation. 2002, we have no idea which school Erika went to. We'd like to find out. In 2003, Lori Franzfey forms another Intelemet company. This one is Intelemet of Arizona, LLC. Okay. She forms that on January 9th. 2005, we've gone over this. Now we can document Erika. She is at Notre Dame. She is playing basketball. She also is in the pageant world. She wins first runner-up of the National America Miss Arizona pageant. But the most crucial part of 2005 is what Lori Franzfey is doing, because people have pointed this out, but there is a relic that shows you that she received money from the government. IMET Laboratories. She's listed in the House bill budget. She's receiving money from the Department of Homeland Security's IMET Laboratories. Perhaps we could not find formation docs for that, but maybe we can assume that that's related to Intelemet, because she's starting all at Intelemet, Arizona, Intelemet. That could be shortened from Intelemet Laboratories. Okay, what is she doing for them? In 2006, we know Erika's going to win the National American Miss Teen pageant. She gets that chance to travel and to meet Senator John Kyle. She also is going to present plans for what nobody knows to Rep. J.D. Hayworth. And she gets involved in charity, Andrea's Closet, which is going to work with the hospital in Winslow. We showed you this article. This truly is the best version we could find. I know it's very smudged, but I wanted to point out to you that somebody emailed me about this article. Erika sort of tells this story. We received an interesting email because we showed you this article, and in this article, I'm going to read for you what it actually states. This is Erika speaking. She says, quote, "Winslow has so much character. We love stopping here." And then the writer continues, she and her family have come through Winslow many times on their way to basketball games around the state that she plays in. The email we received came from a very credible person. I will leave it at that. I'm going to protect this person's identity. They said, that is BS. That is BS. They explained to me something I didn't know. Maybe you did. But in the state of Arizona, 80% of the population lives in Maricopa County. And the person went on to say, I'm very familiar with basketball. I can tell you that at most, because of the way that they structured doing teams and traveling teams, Erika would at most, if she played for all 4 years of high school, because Winslow is located 3 hours outside of Scottsdale, she would have only gone to Winslow 2 times. So this is just, her mother is involved in this, immediately flagging this as weird. How did she get involved with this hospital? Elsewhere, she says that she also loves to do charity work abroad. That would imply Erika has already been abroad, right? She's already been abroad. So was she with Lori? Did Lori and her travel to do some stuff with the military? It's a fair assumption, or it's a fair question, rather. They haven't answered our questions. So probably no chance that they're going to give us clear answers on this either. We can jump back into our timeline to relevant portions. In 2007, we know she graduates from Notre Dame Prep. She is Miss America Teen. She begins playing basketball at Regis University. Lori's AZ Tech International Incorporated is going to be canceled for lack of a tax filing, but don't worry, she's going to bring it back soon. We can essentially now jump back into the timeline into 2008, because that's where we really left off. Erika's missing. She's locked away like Cinderella. She's reading her Bible. She's only seeing her pastor while at Regis University for that 2007-2008 school year. I should mention Erika was majoring in business administration. Okay, that was her major. And that record, that relic of her, is still available on the Regis player bio. It tells us what she was doing, majoring in business administration. Now, we can assume while she's locked away the following year, and this is a kind assumption, that she continued her studies online. But in the future, she's going to edit and say that she majored in political science from the beginning. That's not true. What we do know for certain is that it's going to take Erika 5 years to graduate college. And for some reason, in this year of 2008, Lori's going to receive a lot of money from the Army National Guard. IMET Laboratories, again, associated with Lori Franzfey, the Army National Guard, is going to have to disclose that they gave $2.4 million to IMET Laboratories. Take a look at that. J3, J6, that's got to do with like cyber security, cyber operations. So Erika already, via her mother, who she claims raised her as a single mom, she didn't, unless maybe her mindset, it was the single mom because Erika was over on a base with her mother. But we now know that during this year, this crucial year where Erika is missing, her mother is going to wind up having received $2.4 million. I mean, this woman, from a model to a secretary to now she's getting all of this money for tech. It's interesting. Let's jump into 2009 because it's a most crucial year. Things are going to start to get spicy. Okay, so remember, going into this, Lori's already working with the United States military. She's receiving millions. Do not forget that. In 2009, Lori Franzfey is going to establish Everyday Heroes Like You in April. In her filing, she will claim that it is a faith-based organization that is raising funds and developing programs for vulnerable children. Okay, they publish this initially on July 2nd of 2009. Okay, Lori seems a bit busy. She's already working with the government. She's maybe in Afghanistan, or at least creating tech that's going to be used in Afghanistan. And now, wow, this hero is jumping in and going, I'm going to help vulnerable children. Why does that make me uncomfortable? Do I have a right to feel uncomfortable about that? Do you guys feel uncomfortable about that?
This screams trafficking.
Military bases and doing stuff for the military, and now like I'm gonna help kids a little bit. Maybe I'm wrong. With everything I know about Lori, I don't love it. Then in October, the same year, right after she establishes this, it is announced that the Romanian government has agreed to allow America to set up a military base along the Black Sea. Now, that's the first time. Things are crazy. Erika is going to make the claim, by the way, on a future podcast entitled Free Thinkers Only, that shortly after they established this charity, Everyday Heroes Like You, she's going to go to China to help women who were sex trafficked. So to be clear, she establishes this in 2009. Her mother establishes this in 2009. Where did Erika go to China? When did Erika go to China in 2009? I want you to listen to Erika in her own words. Take a listen.
I decided to create something called Everyday Heroes Like You, where we're able to, originally, it was focused on bringing funds and awareness to various grassroots organizations that were in specific communities that would be able to have volunteers that are transparent with their funds, that are actually doing what they're saying they're doing, instead of just having 70% of the funds go to admin and only 30% towards the cause. So really just focusing on making sure there was a home for transparent organizations that people could learn about, get involved with. But from there, it kind of grew into something more global. I was living in China and doing a lot of work with the victims from sex trafficking, and then began to phase that into working with the Marine Corps and the Army, and then was able to work with a orphanage in Romania.
So she's clear there. Everyday Heroes comes first. She goes and she's working with sex trafficking victims in China. Then she gets this partnership with the Marines. And then she goes out and establishes the Romanian Angels Project. That's what she says then. Don't hold Erika to being consistent. You'll drive yourself crazy. But we're still in 2009. Who knows what's real with that? I wanted to play it. What we do know is that Erika shouldn't be in Colorado anymore, even by her own standards, which she says, I was there for my first 2 years of school. Well, in 2009, she should not be in Colorado anymore. And yet she is going to compete in November for Miss Colorado 2010. So you compete in the November before, so you wear the crown for the following year. So she competes in 2009 for Miss Colorado, and she places 4th runner-up. How did she qualify to compete is one of my questions. Now, I'll have you guys know, you'll see I added a note here that 2009, you got the Romanian government agreeing to allow America to set up a military base. That's when you start to see Jeffrey Epstein beginning to procure women from Romania per his emails that are now available. He's going to instantly get his hands over into Romania. Look, he's offering, here is information for the girl from Romania who will receive $10,000. There have been headlines about how often he refers to Romania throughout his emails. There is no question. This headline reads, several Romanian women named in newly released Epstein case files. I'll add here also that the #1 university that he seems to be involved with is Arizona State University, which Erika will eventually graduate from. For the purposes of right now, just know that Jeffrey Epstein, we have emails going back to 2009, right when this base gets established, and suddenly he is interested in procuring models from Romania. Okay, lock that into your mind because 2010 is going to get crazy. This is the year that Erika will claim that she went to Loyola Marymount in her junior year of college. So that's going to be from fall 2009, spring 2010 about. We can find her in a yearbook or a graduation list. No person has come forward yet and said that they remember attending class with her, but she also could have attended classes online. I would assume, given the amount of travel that she keeps indicating, that she probably did take a lot of classes online. So just wanted to show you that this is when she is supposed to be at Loyola Marymount. On January 6th of this year, Jerry Franzfey creates an LLC called Luminarius with her daughter, the one that she had when she was 14, Deborah Himsel. She's going to follow mommy's footsteps from the very beginning, getting into psychology. It's another charter school company. Okay. Now, in my mind, when I think about charter schools, and I had received an article that was written about the corruption, particularly of charter schools in Arizona, you have to, or I had to ask myself, what are they doing with these charter schools? What would be the benefit of having these charter schools? Well, you being in charge of schools, you could create records for anybody. Actually, you would literally be able, if you wanted to, and you had some people who were maybe illegal, if you needed to get them into school pretty quickly in elementary school, it would be good to control a fleet of charter schools. I'm not saying that's the case with Luminarius Group, but I'm finding this theme to be interesting of charter schools. And again, you can look up many articles about the corruption of the particularly charter schools in Arizona, which begins with Tesseract, and now it continues to move. It's an interesting story. In November of 2010, this is where we find Erika filming November Renaissance, and they eventually put up a trailer on Kickstarter. She in particular is working with a lot of actors, directors, people involved in this project are affiliated with Fort Huachuca and Sierra Vista. Like, that is an intel base. How did Erika get this role? How did this happen? How is she doing this in addition to her studies? Maybe that's why she takes a year longer to graduate. I'm not sure, but I'm certainly interested in the fact that this movie, which never came out, was about corporate espionage, spies going into a corporate company, working on behalf of a global government. That is a little too on the nose for me. And again, by this time, Erika already has military connections via her mother. Where is her mother based, by the way? I'm going to assume if you're doing tech and you're creating tech for the DHS, you're not just doing this from like your basement. Is that a fair assumption?
Yeah.
I don't know. We also know that in 2010, Erika forms an LLC with her then boyfriend, Tyler Sandford. It's called Table 4 LLC. Tyler Sandford will be featured down the line as the actor in her My Kind of Crazy music video that she's going to film in 2013. I should also mention that he is a catcher for the Los Angeles Angels. Like I've said to you many times, Erika is always dating people that have some level of fame. As you will see, this is the first person
that we know of.
2007, or I should rather say this combination in 2010, pardon me, is crucial that I'm about to explain to you. Lori suddenly reinstates, remember, AZ Tech International Incorporated first gets into a little bit of trouble because they're not filing their tax returns, but then Lori moves to reinstate that in 2010. AZ Tech International, it's back on the table. Well, for the first time that year, the Black Sea Rotational Force 10 goes out to Romania, and they establish the Mihail Kogolnichono, I hope I'm saying that right, Kogolnichono, probably not, air base in Romania. You can see that here. Marines, sailors of the Black Sea Rotational Force 2010 officially kicked off their 3-month engagement in the Black Sea region in a ceremony at Romania's Mihail Kogolnichono airfield on May 17th. Now, what's incredibly interesting, and we're going to get more into that in tomorrow's episode, is in particular, a lot of those people are coming from Reno, Nevada, of all places, coming from Reno, Nevada. They are there, the banner that they're using, they're allegedly there because they're going to promote regional stability. We have a way with words, I will say, in the West, regional stability, spreading democracy. The reality is that Colonel Otto Buscher is going to be accused of running a brothel and a human trafficking ring from 2010, the very year that this was established, all the way through to 2015. Yes, Erika will come into contact with Colonel Otto Buscher. We're not going to focus on that today because the more important thing I'd like to introduce to you is Tyler Boyer. Tyler Boyer in 2010, just when this gets established, is going to make an appearance in Romania to work with the Romanian parliament. I'm sorry, what? He's going to stay approximately from May through to the end of the summer. This is the exact same time frame that the Black Sea Rotational Force 10 is going to be there. And here is the proof. Somebody had messaged me very early on. It was at the bottom of my inbox, and I was saying, I know that he went to Romania and was trying to figure out what he was doing. And they were like, oh, I actually talked to him about that. They were super friendly about it. I talked to him about that. And here's the conversation. Tyler writes, I went to Romania to do some work with a senator in the parliament there. And then he says, and he was friends, meaning the senator in Romania, was friends with this guy that owned a modeling agency and took me to the beach. That's going to be in Constanta, just so you know, for 4 days and legit slept collectively like 10 hours. The person says, oh, I was at the lake and they were there. I don't know what this person's talking about. And then Tyler says, but yeah, these girls were crazy and I got completely Romanian sloshed and it got very interesting. Haha, this is the Tyler I know. Everybody knows this is who Tyler is.
Very interesting.
By the way, pretty sure Tyler was married in 2010. Anthony. Check the records. I think he was married to his first wife in 2010. And also, isn't he LDS? Doesn't that mean he's not supposed to be drinking? Oh, who cares? It's all for appearances anyways. Super Christian company. Who cares what they're actually doing? Let's continue. Tyler says they had this homemade whiskey that was like, I can't explain it, but yeah, the girls were wow. Both of them. I told you he's a sexual deviant. It's like, I mean, there's just so much out there. It's crazy. Anyways, he says, the person said, I knew a few girls from there. Homemade whiskey makes a person frisky. I think that's in a song. And Tyler responds, haha, that's probably the cause and effect statement of the night. And I can drink a lot, so I don't pass out or get weird or anything. Ha. Okay. Okay. We can come out of that. What was he doing? Who was the person in Romanian parliament that he was there to see? And what was the name of the modeling agency? I am dying to know. Because it's going to get real interesting now, right? Erika just can't remember. She can't remember how she knows him. She can't remember how she met him. It must. She said to me, maybe it was through a senator. Specifically, that's what she said to me in person. She said it might have been through a senator. I think it could have been through a senator. I think it definitely could have been through a senator. Honestly, the vibes are vibing here. I find that you both have a little something to do with what's going on in Romania as soon as we get there. As soon as America gets there and establishes a base, which is going to become pretty much synonymous, if you speak to Romanians, with trafficking. Models in Romania? Do you know Jeffrey Epstein, Tyler? Did you guys come across each other? Because he was dealing with models in Romania too. Anyways, we got to figure out, if you guys don't mind. I know, I know they're just carrying on Charlie's legacy. Everybody grieves differently, and it might not be the time to ask. But I'd really like to know what model agency that Romanian parliament member was working with that Tyler had a fun night out with. I think it's a good place to pause before we bring Erika to Romania. That'll be in tomorrow's episode. We're going to take a brief break, and I'm going to give you an interesting update about her Uncle Rick.
Uncle Rick, holy cow. Okay, you said, who said that? Let's see. Jats. Erika's mom was a model for Epstein. I looked up everybody's name in the files and I didn't come across any files, which doesn't surprise me. If you're in it, you know, that deep and you're kind of working in the shadows. Oops, that was mine. And if she's in it, if she's there at the beginning, at the outset, they're going to be protected. But nobody has mentioned her in the files. Now, they talk about in Arizona when Jeffrey was there, you know, a blonde girl being there and introducing them to Epstein, but nobody's mentioned Erika. I had expected to see some of them come up in there. It's dry. Jamie! So creepy. What is this thing you went to? Jamie, what is it, the thing you went to? Did you have a drink on me? I was going to say I'm going to have a little celebratory cocktail afterwards and I'll cheers you. That's crazy. And she was, gosh, if there is anything that convinced me, I can't be convinced anymore that she was Charlie's handler and she was assigned to him. 100%. Allegedly. I don't want to get in trouble. So I'll say allegedly. My opinion. I think that's our opinion. Do you guys think she was a handler and assigned to Charlie? Like specifically to help build out the network? I'm going to have to look up all these names that Candace is mentioning, all the organizations. That's a crazy amount of organizations. And do you think her mom sold her? Like, was she sold to the government and trained? I think it's looking like that. Maggie says absolutely 100.
What Tyler was doing in Romania. Right? Don't you guys just want to know what he was doing? I'm dying to know. It's like the one piece of her life Erika can't remember is how she met Tyler Boyer. It's crazy. And the person that introduced you to your husband. I feel like you and Lori and Tyler go back. Like way back. You know what I'm saying? I feel like you guys have known each other for since at least 2010. If I'm being honest. I think you knew the Farnsworth and I think you knew the Boyers. That's I'd actually go back further. I think you guys maybe even knew each other since Afghanistan, but I'm going to wait until tomorrow to introduce that, how you guys maybe even could have known each other. I mean, just dancing around each other there in Arizona, all getting involved in the same stuff, charter schools. And then you and Tyler are going to graduate in the same year. It's all so crazy. I need to know. Tell me, what happens? What happened with Turning Point USA? You just knew, got lucky, we're on pilgrimage, I guess. And there Charlie was at the airport in Israel. You saw him. Your mom said, go up to him. She's a pusher, right? Lori's a pusher.
She's a pusher.
I always thought it was so strange how you never mentioned that I was at the airport with Charlie. Just thought that was so weird. You never said that. Yeah, I saw Charlie with Candace because we were actually together for that trip. So interesting. Anyways, it's a tangled web that we weave, Erika. Fun little update for you guys on Uncle Rick. I would argue that he's a fraud. Actually, I wouldn't argue it. It's not my opinion. That was the bar's opinion. Remember, I told you he lost his legal license in 2009, and I wasn't sure what or why or how. I did know that his father, Tony, had bestowed upon him some of that money, but he was like, look, I don't know how this happened or how it got here. Well, there actually was a very detailed article about how he lost his license, and I'd like to share that information with you. We learned the reason. Rick is the movement that is mentioned throughout this article. I'm just going to clear this up for you. The first reason that his legal license was removed is because he didn't pay his dues. Okay, my best guess is the reason he stopped paying his dues in Kentucky was that he was hoping that they would stop their investigation into him, but they didn't. We learned that in 2007, they then opened an investigation into him for the following reasons. Reason number one is because while employed by the Bank of Corbin to perform title searches on certain properties, Rick didn't inform the bank that other mortgages already existed on those properties. So they were issuing loans to multiple people for the same property, right? This means a failure to disclose this information resulted in the Bank of Corbin issuing loans on 4 of the properties that were already encumbered by pre-existing mortgages. Banks just loans, and it's going to this one property. Just so you guys are clear, this is exactly what led.
So this is what concerns me, because if you remember in previous, I think a lot of people are newer here. In my previous shows, I've talked about that I would not be surprised if Turning Point USA was getting into land development and real estate. And she confirmed there is. The other thing is in finances, in financing.
To the financial crisis. You ever seen the movie The Big Short? This is what happened. Okay. We continue. The second reason is that Bill transferred 50% of the stock that he owned in B&G Holdings LLC. And that's Bill, his brother, the one that goes to prison for years. Well, we learned that Bill transferred 50% of that stock to an LLC called Bill Erpenbeck Children LLC. And Rick managed that LLC. So Rick's brother, Bill, made the transfer. This goes on without any consideration. And while Rick was indebted to several leading institutions because he stole money from people. And then that went to an LLC controlled by his brother, Rick. And by the way, while they were going through bankruptcy court, trying to find money, you know how this happens after they steal from middle-class people and poor people. And they go, well, where's the money? And people lose their homes. And well, then these people go into bankruptcy court and Bill's like, I don't know where the money is. Well, actually, in this case, the money was in an LLC controlled by Rick. So that's what happened. Rick ended up not only with Tony's money, but he also ended up with a good portion of Bill's money as well. Cool. Thirdly, Rick prepared a deed transferring property to a woman named Anita Andrews, but apparently he did not record that deed with the county, and the deed wasn't actually signed by Anita Andrews. That's weird. And he then quickly transferred that same property to his mother and father. So this kind of feels like this is deed fraud. There's some sort of fraud going on with property. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm feeling really weird about the fact that he's the witness on these crazy divorce docs.
Yeah.
I'm feeling weird. Vibes are not vibing. Ultimately, Rick was found guilty. That's why he had his license suspended. But only within the state of Kentucky in August of 2009. But, and here is the kicker, they found that his actions did not rise to the level of criminality, just professional negligence. It's amazing. It is amazing what wealthy people,
The rest of us would have gone to
what
jail.
wealthy criminals get away with, right? So could you just imagine the people whose entire lives got ruined because they believed in this company, they gave their money, they're doing more, whatever it is, and then banks are going under, their entire life savings have been depleted, and we just look at the characters involved, and he's like working at Universal. Doing more LLCs with Lori. Lori's working with the government. Like I said, there's no bar to entry when you're with the gang. You know what I mean? The people that are running things, doesn't matter. They write the laws. They'll read the laws if they want to read the laws. And this was professionally not okay. He committed no crimes here. He just was negligent professionally. But let you get too many parking tickets. You go to
Right.
jail.
Right.
Let you speed. If you're just speeding a little bit too quick on the freeway, all right, straight to jail. Never get your life back. Oh, you've got a record now. You were smoking a joint. You got a record. Hunter Biden, you're smoking crack down the freeway. Recording yourself. You hand in your own laptop. He's like, you know what? I'm like, well, you know what? We flying high. We can do whatever we want, okay?
That's how they are.
He's never going to see a day in prison. Just want to let you know, these are the people that rule over us. Anyways, enjoy your time at Universal Studios. In other news, Blake Neff is obviously demented. I don't know what's wrong with this person. I don't
Should
know.
we all
if
write to
he might be
Universal
Jewish. I don't even
Studios?
know because, like, I don't. I hope he's Jewish. I hope he's Jewish. Or I don't know what's going on here. If this is just like a social disorder, whatever it is, they're obviously watching every minute of the series, and despite everything that we have presented, despite the questions that we sent them ahead of the series that were then forwarded to a lawyer for no reason. I had my producer, Ashley, send questions and they're like forwarded to a lawyer and the lawyer writes back all snippy. But we'd like to know the answers to some of these questions. We're saying a lot here, right? Possible gang ties. We don't know. In the past, obviously, Vince Lombardi, is that her grandpa? I don't know. Is that Lori's mother? Is Lori even Erika's mother? Erika's weird little Tesseract school, fraud following Lori, money disappearing everywhere they go. Kneff could not bear. He couldn't bear it. He put his foot down last night and he issued a full-throated statement. He did not care.
He did.
He came for me hard because no one comes for Shabbat Shalom. No one comes for Erika Shabbat Shalom. Remember yesterday I was joking about Shabbat Shalom, daddy's home, they're on the phone. Look at what turning point, what Blake actually authored. This is not a joke, okay? He could not bear me ridiculing Erika over Shabbat Shalom. This is what he wrote on X. I have avoided commenting on most of what Candace Owens' claims are the past few months. However, her last episode contains such a blatant untruth about Charlie's daily life that I feel compelled to correct it. In this episode, Candace Owens aggressively ridicules Erika for using the phrase Shabbat Shalom and suggests that Charlie's last book, Stop in the Name of God, about the value of observing the Sabbath is a fabrication to make Charlie appear more pro-Jewish and pro-Israel than he really was. It is very revealing that Candace would fixate on this, as it immediately reveals unfamiliarity with Charlie's behavior for the entire period that I knew him. Charlie was observing his evangelical Christian version of Shabbat. Like, I can't even read this whole thing. It's absurd. You can come out of that because it is just absurd. It is so absurd. I can't even believe that he's authoring this. First off, Blake,
Dumb.
I can show you text messages that turning your phone off on Saturday, I was doing first and telling Charlie he should do. Before anybody, as soon as I met George, that became a thing. I'm aware he turned his phone off on Saturdays. Okay, that's been going on. I did it first. Okay, I've been watching this whole story spun, and what we're making fun of is that being the first thing that you hit on toward. The idea that he finished this book, that this was his legacy. It's pretty obvious here that you guys were trying to make us just remind us of how much Charlie loves Israel. I mean, Bibi Netanyahu came out within 48 hours to remind us of how much Charlie loved Israel. We're aware of the PSYOP, and it failed. But that this would be the thing that you broke your silence on, like, oh, everything Candace is saying How dare she discount the fact that Charlie, I just want to be clear, Charlie loved dreidel. Dreidel. He made it out of clay. He'd spin it, he'd play. He loved latkes. Enough is enough. They're delicious, they're crunchy, and they're salty. And we will not stand for Candace to say this. I'm sorry, Blake. I'd like to apologize. Shabbat shalom. Daddy's home. He threw in his phone. Glad we cleared that up. Charlie's phone was off on Saturdays. Bro was like a rapper, sliding in like Usher. Daddy's home. Shabbat shalom. I'm sorry.
Candace is trolling.
I'm sorry, Blake. I will never do this again.
Oh my
I'll be
gosh.
back after a quick break. All right, you guys, if you are trying to get healthier, sleep better, or finally
that
lose
was
those stubborn
so
pounds,
funny.
your
That
gut's
made me
health
have
might be
laugh tears. Hilarious. I saw that. that post. That's ridiculous. She's cooking. I know. Don't ever stop, Candace. Do not ever stop. That is the best. I wonder, have you guys seen that YouTube channel that makes the AI songs? And they've done some with Erika Kirk, about Erika Kirk and that. So I wonder, I bet you they'll come out with one. If they don't have it already, Shabbat Shalom. Have you guys seen those videos? They're hilarious. Did you see the one with Ben Shapiro? What was it? I can't remember the name of it, but it was so funny. It made me laugh. Anyway, these names, I'm going to look up more of these names. I'm sure she has, and her team has looked up in the Epstein files, and there'll be nothing, but I'm going to do some like extra searching, like with change spellings. And I'm sure they've done that too, but, and then Ian Carroll has the web one, which I cannot figure out how to use, guys. I've spent so much time on that trying to figure out how to use it, and I'm just too illiterate when it comes to that stuff. But anyway, I'm sure they have, but it won't hurt to look again. Or these businesses. I wonder if they've looked up the business names. Maybe not. I mean, they're busy. They're a busy crew. I know just doing this little bit that I do, it takes all of me to do it. So, and they have a small crew of like, I think 3 people, unless she hired another person. But anyway, that's a tremendous amount of work, but she's got all the internet sleuths helping too. Trafficking. That's all. That's what it was. Oh, I'm going to turn the volume on. I do too. I love her humor. She makes me laugh so much. She's good. American financing. I wouldn't finance anything, and I wouldn't buy gold. Although maybe we can buy some stock in Palantir. Maybe we can all pull our money and buy a single share. I don't even know how much they go for. I wonder.
Smart equity loan. It's a simple, smart way to get your finances back on track without giving up your low mortgage rate. Unlike a HELOC, which can fluctuate with the market, the Smart Equity Loan offers a fixed rate, so you'll have one predictable monthly payment. It lets you use your home's equity to pay off high-interest debt, free up your cash flow, and still keep your existing mortgage intact.
It's up, 147
there are no upfront fees to find out if you qualify.
a share.
So call 800-795-1210. Again, that's 800-795-1210. Or visit AmericanFinancing.net/Owens. Again, that's AmericanFinancing.net/Owens. Just to be clear, I do love latkes. They are delicious. They're very, very good. And they are salty. So there's that. We can meet in the middle, Blake. You better be Jewish. If I find out you're not Jewish, you're in so much trouble. Anyway, top comments from yesterday's episode. Angus writes, imagine if Candace died and a week later, there was a stranger sitting in her chair telling us she never believed Brigitte was a man and she loved Israel. That's what happened to Charlie. So well said. It's just upside down land. It's just so crazy. I'm like, did they even like him? Forget love Charlie. Did they even like him?
I know.
Was
they
he really just
didn't.
a means to an end? I'm wondering. Blame it on a Black Star writes, I wonder if Erika is learning new things about herself from this series. I think Erika hits reset every morning. I think the Erika that yesterday is not the Erika today and will not be the same Erika as tomorrow. There's something about, she's just on autopilot. Anyway, reminding you guys, if you want to support us, buy something on the website, you can just go to CandaceOwens.com. Get great merch. It's It's the best, easiest way to support us in independent journalism. Okay, getting into some of your comments from today's episode. Fasted Rights Day of Prayer for the Epstein victims is set for July 4th. Father in heaven, bless these victims. They are scared, silenced, and alone. We will declare our independence from these evil monsters running our world. In Jesus' name, please, amen. Christ is King. Yes, pray. It means something, guys. I am telling you, you can feel it. The energy is shifting. There's an awareness like there has never been an awareness before.
Yes.
We couldn't even discuss these topics, the probability of these sort of dynamics happening globally. If it was a few years ago, you would sound like you were a crazy person. And we're now able to discuss these prospects because people are pursuing independent voices and people are considering how we got here. I would also really like to say, as I have said many times before, get your kids out of school. If you are able to do so. I just have had a very strong sense that you need to pull your kids out of public schools. There's just a lot of bad stuff happening right now.
Give me chills.
I'll leave it at that. Rachel Janusek writes, it's my birthday. Also, I have 2 questions. Did Charlie date anyone else before Erika? I had alluded to the fact that Charlie did have one person that he was very, 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 very into before Erika. And that's why it was LOL hilarious when Turning Point PR tried to push out this narrative like Candace, and Charlie were a thing. I was so his wing woman, you have no idea. I actually became very close with that young lady because I felt like it was just me texting her all the time because Charlie would ask me, what should I text? What should I say or whatever. Charlie really was like a kid brother to me. So the answer to that question is yes, one person. But yeah, then you met Erika. That's the answer. The second question that you have also.
I want to know more about that.
Birthday. Do you know if Erika still has her kids? I saw some posts about Charlie's parents taking them. Thank you, Candace. You are amazing. There's no truth to that. Erika definitively still has her kids. UT Gramshar writes, thank you, Candace, for simply being you. We are very thankful for your courage, your faith, and your drive to find the truth in all things, to continually ask questions. Anyone who has attacked you for doing what Charlie would say to do owes you an apology. Go, Max. I will not hold my breath for an apology. I'm not even interested in an apology. I just want to get to the truth, and we're getting closer to the truth. And getting into Romania and bringing these pieces together and establishing the characters and the narrative was all just sort of necessary steps that we had to take. Tremendous thank you to our little team in there who, trust me, we've been working hard. Everybody has been working really hard, researching and fact checking and also enduring a lot of emails on top of everything. So, and also thank you to everybody out there as we get closer to being finished with this series. It was only supposed to be 3 episodes, but because they posted Savannah's baby, I was like, oh no, you're getting a whole extra week. You don't post infants on the internet. You just don't post infants on the internet. And then I added another episode because somebody called Skylar and left a message. So this is how I play. We can go a whole year. This
is how I play.
Brigitte got a season 2 because she sued me. Brigitte was supposed to just be an episode. And then she sent me a threat and she got a season. And then she sent me a lawsuit and she got a 2nd season. So, and that's where I'm at right now. Gracie Lou writes, I would be so blessed to have a friend like you. That said,
right,
how
Jamie.
did Erika Kirk scam a genius like Charlie? The more I hear her past interviews, the dumber she sounds. I don't get it. Shaking my head. This stuff with men and women is biblical. You go to Genesis. I mean, this is not about an IQ, people saying Charlie was a genius. How could he hire people around him? IQ and EQ are totally different things. And on the topic of women, Charlie wasn't a genius. He just wasn't a genius on the topic of women. Don't be ridiculous. And you grow to trust people. People forget how young Charlie was. So even in terms of who was around him, you make mistakes. We are all human. It doesn't matter how genius you are. Interpersonal relationships, that's an entirely different dynamic. I have been friends with people and those friendships have fallen apart. I would say I have a pretty high emotional, I have a high EQ, definitively, and sometimes you get it wrong. This is all normal stuff. And so I think people keep going, well, he was so brilliant. And then he sees a girl and things change and you're no longer thinking clearly and emotions get into the mix.
Get the love goggles.
We have all been there before. So
no,
I
never.
do think, I know for a fact he didn't know a lot of these things about Erika because I was there and I'm finding this stuff out. He definitively did not know. He thought it was all organic. And I have my questions about that. Tyler Boyer. He's an important guy. Tyler Boyer. drinking in Romania, enjoying the models, the ladies. Who was the person in Romanian parliament that he went out to see? How does that happen? Tyler was in college. Who set that up? Well, could it have been a Farnsworth? Very close with that family, aren't you? They were in office. I'll keep digging, see what we come up with. Sarah Phillips writes, can someone please tell me why the LLCs and charities by Erika and her mom sound exactly like the fraud that Doge and Elon uncovered in the government? It'd be great if Elon could go ahead and finish that Doge for Charlie. I'd like that Doge to be finished. I'd like to know what it was that Charlie was concerned about 7 days before that we're supposed to believe he just did for funsies. It's not the story that I've been told by people that are more intimately involved with Turning Point USA. And since nothing they say is true, I am under no illusions when it comes to the people that are in charge now, Erika among them. Danny writes, they all act in bad faith. Literally, that is correct. So I just wanted to show you that. I've been saying for a while about that. That is not even, if you thought that message revealed him, you don't know Tyler Boyer. And that is the first thing that registered to me as suspicious, is Erika is keeping people that I know are corrupt, that I know are liars, that I know are sexual deviants.
Devil worshippers,
so what's actually
Satan
driving
worshippers.
that? And I think the answer is prior existing relationships, military relationships. Actually, that's the story that I'm telling. And I think tomorrow you will see even more how plausible that is, how plausible it is that they all kind of knew each other before and then surrounded Charlie like a November Renaissance. We'll leave it at that, you guys. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye, Candace. Bum, 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 boom. Oh my gosh. So we still didn't get to more. I thought we were going to get more intel and deets about the pageant days. People who knew her in pageants. Like, we need to hear from more people who did pageants with her. How was she? How did she qualify? What'd she talk about? Who'd she see? So, yes, I could imagine her as president. Candace, Tucker, and Megyn. I don't care for Megyn Kelly, but she could be press secretary. I mean, she's got the mouth. She can go. She goes. Something about Megyn. I just don't care for Megyn. But could you imagine? I mean, we could use this pocket guide. We could all get one of these pocket guides. We could study it, and then we could figure out how to overthrow our government, make a coup, throw Candace in, even though she doesn't want to. We could talk her into it, like, somehow, and Tucker, and they could just, run the world. I mean, let's do it. Let's do it. Everybody, print up that pocket book, that pocket guide. We all need that. Throw it in your car on your free time, pull it out, take a look at it, download it onto your phone. Salt and pepper. Salt and pepper. Salt and pepper here. Anyways, are you talking about my hair? Oh, anyway, that was good. Do you guys want to know more about Erika? Like, get the meats and bones and the potatoes, all of this stuff about Erika? I really do. I want more of that. I wonder if she's got it. I'm getting nervous because that's what I want. That's really what I want. Anyway, we will keep tuning in and keep supporting. Remember, with all the war stuff and all the news that's in front of us right now, don't forget about Epstein. Don't forget talking about it, liking posts, sharing them on social media, wherever you're at, because that could easily get buried. I know that at the forefront right now is Iran, and it should be, we should all be looking at that, and it's an important thing. So is this. So I'm hoping to get with Michael from the documentary and get a time here in the next week or two, and we can all meet back here and talk talk to Michael about that. Surviving Ohio State. Look it up. Take a look at it. I'll ask you about it, and we'll talk about it more too. Candace is awesome. Anyway, thank you all for being here and for meeting me back here. We'll see you again tomorrow, and thank you for your support, and I will see you soon. Bye, everybody.
This is a better life, from scars to stars, from pain to bulletproof. Teresa, better life, a better life with you. Talking news, pop culture life, love and scandal, heart to heart. Teresa, better life. Real is where the reset starts. No playing small. We rise, we fall. We laugh, we do it all. A better life is one brave call. Teresa, better life. Let's build a better life. Let's build a better life. A better life. Teresa, better life.